Now recording. So, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Good. What about yourself?
Better than yesterday. Although, horrible night last night. The kid, the youngest, decided to get the cold, and he was cutting teeth at the same time. So, oh man.
Spent the night crying.
3 solid hours, not crying, talking to himself. Yeah. I'd almost prefer crying. You know? Normally you can get crying stopped, but try stopping a baby that's talking to itself. No. That's my answer. Okay, so I'd like to then, let's do some practical examples. Pardon me. If you could load up your code editor, please. We'll get underway. A suitable place to start for our example, I think, continuing a theme. Let's make cookie clicker, shall we? All right. So.
Where's the time for this?
I know, right? Well, I'm recording it. So, the idea behind cookie clicker is that essentially you have a big cookie and you click on it and you get points, and then you spend those points on the ability to increasingly click the cookie for no effective purpose aside to then watching a number go up. How this is considered entertainment, I'm not sure. It probably takes advantage of some kind of strange glitch in human psychology. That's my best explanation for a game like Cookie Clicker. So, let's design the front end. If we're going to make Cookie Clicker, we need a cookie to click. So, please go to the internet and
You're not,
oh. I think I know who it is who's doing that, but I'm not going to say it on camera. But you know, I think I know who it is.
So you're just trying to mess with me?
Yes. I don't know why you would ever, because what it was in like extend mode rather than duplicate mode. I don't know why you would ever put one of these in that mode.
Well, there was a class before this class.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, cookie. We need a picture of a cookie to click. Cookie click card. There we go. There we go. Happy little cookie.
Question.
Yes.
If you were to put in like a JPEG that had a transparent background, would it have a transparent background on the website?
JPEG format does not support transparent background. PNG format does support transparent background, and yes, if you select a PNG with a transparent background, it will show up here. Yes, generally PNGs are preferred. I believe AVIF has transparency layer as well. What's today? The 28th of the first month of the 25th year. There we go. We have our cookie. So, make a new file, index.html. There we go. Add your Emmet abbreviation. Cookie clicker. So, we want a few things. We need the cookie to click. We need a scored display. And eventually, we will want buttons to purchase items using the cookies. Right? So, for the time being though, let's just have the cookie and the counter. So the counter might be H3. You have span ID equals cookies and span default value 0 cookies. You guys see what I did there? So, essentially, what I did is I left a little spot inside of this heading 3 for me to be able to drop in my value of how many cookies we've accumulated as we're running the JavaScript. So I have designed the HTML in advance for use by the JavaScript, right? Everything integrates together. Next, we need the cookie to click. Image source will be cookie.addif. There we go. And let's see what it renders like, shall we? The cookie is perhaps a bit large, but in general, that's about what we were going for. Has everybody gotten that far? Good, 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 good. Okay. I see everybody sitting one row further back to get away from my plague today.
I think you're better, right?
I'm a little, yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm just, you know,
I'm happy for you.
thank you. I'm like, in my household, we call this the clear out phase, you know? Like you're just trying to get all the junk out. It's like the battle has been won, you're just cleaning up the casualties, you know? Yeah, so from here, our next object is to get into the JavaScript. Question?
So Nick, you didn't close it, but still you managed to have it on the page, right?
Some tags don't require closing tags. Image tags are one of them. There aren't very many tag types that don't require a close, but image is one of them. questions? Okay. So let's make ourselves a tasty little JavaScript. Script, source equals cookies.js. And script. There we go. And remember our neat little shortcut. Control-click to follow the link, create file, and you'll never have a problem. Now, remember that JavaScript programming is primarily event-based. We want to have cookies added to our total cookie score, right? What triggers that? How does one get a cookie in Cookie Clicker?
On click.
We on-click on what element? On the image. That's right. So we need to put an on-click element, or an on-click attribute inside of this image tag. Now, the thing that on-click expects is a JavaScript function name. Let's just call it click, and then provide that definition in the JavaScript file. Function click. Cool. There we go. For the time being, just to make sure everything hooks up, we can just run a tidy little print statement just to make sure everything hooks up. So here is my web development tip number 1. All right? I know that seems like kind of too early to stop and test, but it really isn't. All right? A lot of people will push past this point, fill in the click function, do a bunch of other JavaScript, and then try to test it, find out it doesn't work, and spend literally hours trying to figure out why the JavaScript they wrote doesn't work, when in fact it'll be something stupid, like they misspelled the function name, right? If you stop, halt at this point, test it to make sure everything's hooked up properly, then you can proceed with the rest of your programming in confidence, right? So if we go back to our page, open up the console, click the image, uh-oh. Did I reload the page? Did I save this? Save? Is everything saved? So that didn't work. So, some things are clickable and some things are not. Divs are clickable, but images are not.
How do we save that as a div? Oh no, never mind, sorry, I was talking about extra.
We don't want to save the image as a div. We want to wrap the image in a div. So, we create a div here, div, end the div there. We've wrapped the image in a div, right? Then we can take the on-click event, move it there. There we go. And it's still not working. Oh, come on! See? This is what I mean about testing it. I will go through my steps to try to debug the problem. All right? One problem that we might have at this point is that the JavaScript source itself simply isn't being loaded. Now we should be able to check this reasonably easily by going to the console ourselves and seeing if click exists. It does, and it performs the expected behavior. All right, so we know that the click function is loaded, so that's not the problem. Next, we should suspect this portion here. Now, I know that onClick is spelt correctly, so as an experiment, let me try it without the round braces. Still nothing. So it's not that either. So, if you've taken a look through and exhausted everything you can think of that it might be the problem with it, at that point, it's correct to check documentation to see if you're doing it correctly, right? So, looking at W3 schools, JS on click. There we go. The onClick event occurs when the user clicks on an HTML element. So, here's an example for using a heading 3. OnClick my function. This is an example where it's providing some values which we are not providing. It's not going to be this problem, is it? Yeah. So, from here, a thing which you can do, import the text which in theory works and see if it does in your context. Click me to change my color. That does work. All right. So, does it still work if we change this to a div? Ah, man. Never mind. Here's another idea. Beginning to become annoyed by this. This was supposed to be an easy example. I guess this is a word to the wise. There we go. Does the div exist? Yes, it does. if order or background color is blue. And let's ignore let's ignore this for a moment. Can we get it to work with just the div? Semicolon, yes. Width 100 pixels. Height 100 pixels. Why the devil isn't it working? Okay. This is what happens when you try to do something fun and interesting in class. Does it work on the H3? Can anybody see what I'm doing wrong? I'm genuinely perplexed.
The only thing I can think, I feel like it has to be the reference to the JavaScript file, because the function works when you just put that into it. I don't see what's wrong with it, but that's the only thing that I can think of that would stop it from calling that function, is if it's not actually accessing the file.
This worked when I imported it. Oh. Wait a moment. Wait a moment.
Can't click.
You can't use click as a name. I hate JavaScript. I hate JavaScript. I hate JavaScript. See, any normal language would have told you that you were trying to rename a function that you, like, a normal language would have behaved in one of two ways. It would have prevented you from trying to overwrite that function that you're not allowed to touch, or it would have allowed you to do it anyways and allowed you to use it in that context. What does JavaScript do? It simply fails to work. Welcome to JavaScript, my friends. So anyway, you're not allowed to name a function click. So there you go. But I think I perhaps over-illustrated my point of why you want to make sure that everything is hooked up before you proceed any further with the development. All right, I can put the image of the cookie back in now, I guess. It probably does work on images. I probably don't need to do it. Let me see here. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Stupid. All right. So the question is then, what does this click do in the cookie clicker game? We have a running tally of the number of cookies that we have. This does two things. It adds to the tally, and it updates the screen with the tally. So, in order to know what the running tally is, what do we need? This is a programming language. What do we need?
Variable?
A variable, yes. So, var cookies equals 0. Now, in the future, perhaps we add more than one cookie when we click the cookie. For now, let's just say cookies plus plus. We can put that in later. We also want to update this value. Document dot query selector ID cookies. Var display is equal to that. That is a reference to our display object. That is the one-armed octopus. Next, display, hello, dot inner HTML is equal to the value of cookies. Very good. Now, if we click, we get an null referencing. So that's complicated. Let's move that statement in here and make it let. There we go. And you can see our counter at the top increases the number of cookies every time we click. And there you have it. Any questions about that? So, within the context of the cookie game, there are buttons that you can use to purchase things which increase your number of cookies. Let's do one of those now. Button on click, or not on click, pardon me. Button, the text of the button says purchase cookie goblin minus 30 cookies. On click, buy goblin. We will, of course, need to write this function now. Function buy goblin. So the idea here, we want the cookie goblin to generate, oh, that's the wrong comment there. Generates one cookie every second. Now, I'm going to let you guys attempt this one yourselves for a little bit. However, I will tell you that all answers will require the use of set interval. You'll need to use that somehow. Recall that for set interval, well, I'll let you look up the documentation. So, please take the next 5 or 10 minutes and see if you can create that functionality. Yes.
You want it for each second?
Yes. So set it up so that there's a recurring event every second the player gains one cookie. those strips that you put on your nose to prevent you snoring. There are a couple of the front of the room up here for some reason. I wonder if some professor had trouble with a student snoring in their class. Seems like that should work. It is working? No. Oh, there you go. Yes.
Performing an operation on a list
Oh,
in my function.
is this the same email that you sent me? I sent you a reply to it.
Yeah, I got that. So that was like, this is now like a different problem. So
Mhm.
like that was me trying to make sure that it was, inputting my inputs were proper. But now when it's called in the function, it's giving me
Type error?
yes. So my list is going in as it is. But because I can't like put it into the function as an int, it's when it gets to that line of comments that I wanted to see if that's the word. But anyways, when I try to do any operating with it, it can't do anything.
So, write one. Remind me what the purpose of that asterisk is?
In Python, that is how you essentially say something could have multiple values. It's essentially how you put a list into a function. I got myself like that. Mine was slow, except for a lot.
W3 schools?
Yeah. And it time zone on me all the time. Like it's like, oh, it was using too much stuff. So if it's a variable that could have multiple values, it's what you're supposed to use.
Oh.
So essentially, if it's an array, you're supposed to use the asterisk.
I think you're misunderstanding what that's not the same thing as like inputting a list.
Oh, is it because this is a
That's,
string?
no, it's several individual arguments.
Okay.
So,
If I take away the asterisks, it might problem might be solved.
if you were saying something like, def some x with the asterisks here, that would allow you to say for num in X, or some X. The usage there would be some 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's essentially making it into an array when you put it in.
This is not an array, that is a list of arguments. It's saying that the number of arguments is indeterminate. That's different from saying some def sum of a list L. And like the contents, guts would be the same here, swap X for L, but the usage would be some 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a proper array, but it's only one argument.
So you just took away the pass to X, and it's still 75 is what I call the function. And line 9 is still when I'm trying to use operator. It's still on string. So it's reading in my int array, no matter what, as a string.
Plus int and string. And that's on line 9. Fold is equal to some num.
Which it was giving me the same problem when I had it as that.
Okay, so where are you calling the correct one? Num, num. Num is
I just want this to because it's giving me a different, although now that I can see your explanation for this, I think I know what the issue was giving me before when I had like the numbers switched around.
so number is supposed to be a list. By the way, side track. Is this an assignment that's been assigned to this entire class? And it's in Python to this degree.
So
Have you guys been taught Python?
nope, we haven't. So it didn't actually explicitly say to use Python because I think we're supposed to be using Bash. But then in the announcement, he said to download Python. Bash is way too complicated to do without being taught it, and he said download Python, so I'm doing Python because it's much simpler. But no, they're not teaching us any programming languages, and they're just telling us to do our labs.
Well, I should continue this because there's 3 minutes left in class. I'll show you how to do this, and then maybe we can discuss other matters. Okay, so to buy a goblin, you must reduce the cookie total by the number of cookies it costs to buy a goblin. Cookies minus equals 30. However, you also need 30 cookies first. So if cookies is greater than or equal to 30, then we do stuff. Otherwise, we don't do stuff. And then we want to set interval to call our regular cookie getting function, foo, every 1,000 milliseconds. Now, note, once again, there are no round braces here. Note the absence of round braces. Because we didn't provide round braces, we are treating this as being symbolic of that function rather than asking to execute it. Okay? So, if we save that up, save, reload our page, Click, 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 click. Purchase. There we go. You can see everything worked, and we can't purchase goblins we haven't earned. Looking good? All right. I think that's about it for class. Thank you very much for your time and attention, folks, and I'll post the code as usual. But if I can just say, like, before we do, I just want, like, I know that it was kind of painful, but I just want to, like, highlight how much we were able to accomplish using JavaScript with only this much code, right? Like, it's extremely powerful stuff. You can get a lot done with just a few lines, right? But anyway, all right, thank you.